You're listening to Earth Oddity, a weekly odyssey into all the oddity planet Earth has to offer. And now, serving it up are Christopher Tiny Sullivan and John Long.
Tiny, how's it going, man?
I'm doing pretty good this morning. How you doing?
I'm all right. Just pumped up for episode 17.
That's right.
Of Earth Oddity podcast. So we're going now E.O.P.
E.O.P.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, you know me. You down with E.O.P.? Yes. You got any good stories for today?
I have a man who stole $1.2 million worth of fajitas.
Woo, man, that's pretty awesome. I've got an Ohio woman that sued Insane Clown Posse after being injured by Faygo, so that's pretty good. I was, just a little any ICP talk we can get into good for our devoted Insane Clown Posse following. I'm sure we're huge at the gathering of the Juggalos.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Also pretty pumped because the royal baby was born. I don't know if you're into that stuff.
You know what? I'm embarrassed that I'm as ignorant as I am, but I knew nothing about that.
Well, I was being facetious. I'm not into it either. I just know somebody put some stuff up on Facebook, and I saw it. So
okay, so there's a
there's
new monarch.
Yeah, a new baby.
Yeah.
Whichever one of them it is, William. I don't. What's the prince's? I don't know. The
I've
one that's
always
married to
heard-
Kate Middleton, the good-looking lady,
I've always heard there's
but
an
not
heir
as
and a
good-looking as
spare.
my wife. But yeah,
Yeah.
But yeah. So she had a baby.
Okay. Good
Everybody
for her.
was pumped about it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we did spank that butt back in 1776. We ain't got to worry about this anymore, but whatever.
Yeah, we're allowed to follow, celebrities and hang on everything they say now.
Yeah. Celebrities are the monarchs of our country.
They are.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. So, but anyways.
Just look at Kanye West.
Oh, yes.
We covered that story last week.
Yeah, when it all began.
He did not stop.
Right.
He tweeted all week last week.
You heard it here first on Earth Oddity Podcast that Kanye was giving out life advice. And the next thing you know, he's
a political pundit.
Yeah, he's all in. I may get a cabinet position or something.
He might do it.
I don't know. Kanye for Minister of Interior or Secretary of the Interior is not too bad.
Urban Development.
There you go. That's perfect.
That's where I would put him.
Yeah. So good for Kanye. I don't know. I think he made some people mad. I've never seen that many middle-aged white people talk about a rap, artist in my life on social media. I mean, people were all. That's really the most amazing thing Trump has done is he had, like 50 year old white people talking about Kanye, probably downloading and listening to his music just to see what he was about.
Yeah.
Like, that's quite a feat right there.
The comedian from Birmingham, Jermaine Funny Main Johnson, he tweeted out last week. He was like, 2018 Republicans tweeting out, rap lyrics. Crazy, y'all.
It is. Like, what timeline are we living in? That's just kind of weird.
Yeah.
But, such is life.
Our first article comes from CNN, and the headline is Police Shoot Man Trying to Enter Courthouse Dressed as a Ninja. This happened in Davenport, Iowa. 2 people were injured after an officer-involved shooting involved a man dressed as a ninja at an Iowa courthouse Wednesday.
Okay.
So, straight off the bat, he's not a good ninja. Because a good ninja would have never been seen.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Blend into the shadows.
Yeah, he would have came in.
Gone with the night.
Yeah, done whatever he had to do and leave.
Yeah. A witness around 10:30 a.m., again, ninjas don't leave witnesses. A man dressed as a ninja tried to get inside the Scott County Courthouse armed with some sort of blunt object, according to police. We walked in the doors, and we'd seen this guy coming from across the street, witness Ann St. Clair said. I swear he was dressed as a ninja in all white, so I assume he's Storm Shadow.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Yeah, it's not Snake Eyes. He's more of the Storm Shadow variety. With a stick coming out of his back that looked like a sword. If it's a stick, I assume this is a bow staff.
Yeah.
That's Donatello's weapon of choice.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, he just came running up to the doors behind us and saying, "Come on, G, come on out here. I'm going to get you." So,
all right.
Again, ninjas don't provoke people into confrontation.
Yeah.
They slip in unnoticed and, get you when you least suspect it.
Right.
So this guy's not a real ninja.
No. Yeah, I would say probably Davenport, Iowa is not known for its ninja population.
No, it's not.
Been to Davenport, Iowa before in my life. Just like to say that. Stayed at a motel called the Crest Motel, which was horrible.
Police said 2 bailiffs quickly responded, and from there the situation escalated, leading them to fire a gun and a less lethal device. So I guess they shot at him and they tased him.
And they tased him, yeah.
Both. The suspect fled on foot before being arrested a short time later. Both the suspect and a bailiff were taken to a hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The bailiff who fired the weapon is now on administrative leave per department policy.
Standard, yeah.
Yes. The investigation is being turned over to the Iowa Division of Criminal Investigation with the help of Davenport Police. It's unclear what charges, if any, the suspect will face.
Huh.
So, good to know that no one got at least seriously hurt.
Right.
Which, if he was a real ninja, he would have deflected that bullet with his weapon,
right.
With his sword.
Yes. Well,
but if he didn't have a weapon, I mean, they said he had a stick.
Right.
If that's all he had and all he was doing was yelling outside of the courthouse,
why do we got to shoot him?
Yeah. In this day and age, I get that you can't just because he could have for real been a threat. But what charges is he going to face? Is it illegal to stand outside of a courthouse dressed as a ninja, and holler at people?
I wouldn't think it would be. I'm sure there's some sort of like menacing, charge.
Yeah. I'm sure they get him with something.
Yeah, but I don't know that let's draw down on him and shoot. But I see he's texting you now, so wonder what he's got to say about it.
BRB.
But apparently the guy maybe had some issues, up top mentally, and enough to dress as a ninja in public.
I think that's a safe assumption.
Yeah. When you see someone like that, I think my first thought would be, well, this dude's he's probably he's got some problems.
Right.
He's in the slow class or whatever, and maybe let's not try to shoot him right off the bat. But I don't know what led up to it, because it said one of the officers had to go to the hospital too, so maybe he whopped him upside the head with a stick or something.
Oh no!
I don't know.
We need this article is not
it's
in
lacking,
depth enough. We need more information.
Facts, yes, because there's a lot of questions there.
Yeah.
Like, what led up to the shooting, or was it just like the bailiff guy was having a bad day and he's like, I'm gonna tell you what, I'm gonna put him down, Randy, and pulled out his gun and shot him.
Yeah.
Randy's like, no, let me tase you first. No, just popping him in the leg or whatever.
Maybe he just wanted to see if he really was a ninja.
That's right.
Because if he's really a ninja,
he's going
to vanish into a poof of smoke and be gone.
That's a very good point. Maybe he was like, hey, you're not a ninja. And the guy's like, yeah, I am. He pulls out, pow, and then he's like, shoots him. He's like, see, I told you weren't a ninja. I don't know, but kind of strange. The Davenport, Iowa ninja.
Storm Shadow from
Davenport. That sounds logical. Up next here, I got a story from the LA Times. Monkey can't sue for copyright infringement of selfies, Ninth Circuit rules. A federal appeals court decided unanimously Monday that animals may not sue for copyright protection. The ruling came in the case of a monkey that took selfies with a wildlife photographer's camera. The photographer later published the photos. An animal rights group sued, charging the monkey owned the copyright because it took the pictures. We must determine whether a monkey may sue humans, corporations, and companies for damages and injunctive relief arising from claims of copyright infringement. Judge Carlos B., appointed by President George W. Bush, wrote for a 3-judge panel of the U.S. Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. We conclude that this monkey, and all animals since they're not human, lack statutory standing under the Copyright Act, Bay said. Naruto, named as the plaintiff, was a 7-year-old crested macaw. Macaw. I guess that's how you say it.
Yeah.
Let's just say monkey, living in a reserve in Indonesia. The monkey purportedly took several photos of itself in 2011 when wildlife photographer David Slater left his camera unattended. People for the ethical treatment of animals.
Oh, no.
No, they're always getting mixed up in it. Sued Slater in 2015, arguing the copyright belonged to the animal. The group said Slater later settled the case out of court, but the Ninth Circuit decided to rule on the matter anyway. Judge N. Randy Smith, in concurrence, called PETA's suit frivolous. The concept of expanding actual property rights and rights broadly to animals necessitates resolving what duties also come with those rights, he wrote. And because animals cannot communicate in our language, who stands in their shoes? He said the federal court lacks the authority to hear a suit purportedly brought by an animal. So, I'm surprised, as we were discussing this earlier, the Ninth Circuit Court is notoriously, I would say, one of the more liberal federal courts, and usually
about the Ninth Circus.
Yeah, the Ninth Circus.
Yes,
and usually, will rule in ways that I would say most of your middle Americans, the flyover states, feel it's kind of crazy,
right?
So I would have guessed they would have sided with the monkey in this suit, but I guess they weren't up for any monkey business. I did my own sound effect for that one.
I believe the reason I bet you a lot of people on the court wanted to rule with the monkey, but I think the reason they didn't is because if they do, and animals can now have copyright protections, there is going to be a lot of films whose copyright is going to be up in the air.
Yeah, you're right. That's a very good point.
And I believe if there's any cats or dogs left from that one movie, what was the name of that movie? You know what I'm talking about? The orange cat. Milo and Otis.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They could sue for murder.
Yeah, that's true.
Straight up sue for murder if that's the case.
Well, yeah, that's a really good point. It would open up, they would just be inundated with lawsuits for everything, and especially if PETA's involved, because PETA's, they're crazy anyway,
Because there's no better way to help animals than to sue to get this
tie them up
monkey his copyright to his selfies.
We love animals, so we're going to tie them up in litigation for years, burden them with legal fees, and everything else. No, we love you, animals. Here is a $500 hour, billing charge from your lawyer, and go ahead and get a job and get that worked up. I don't know.
Yeah. You can now sell, the rights to your selfies.
Yes.
And I guess you can take that money and eat it or
put it in a monkey account.
Wipe with it, whatever you do with money.
Yeah. That's it. Animals really, they have no need for money. So what's the point in a way? And maybe they start little monkey banks. This may be the beginning of Planet of the Apes. Like if it would have ruled the other way. Next thing you know, they're evolving.
Did they mention the monkey by name? I'm sure he's got a name.
Oh yeah, they did. I thought maybe
I probably missed it.
Naruto.
Man, I hope this doesn't start a movement among the monkey population, and they're all like, "Remember Naruto."
Naruto is Japanese manga. That's what it's comes from. Yeah, I didn't know that.
My brother, he would be super into that.
I know Brad's really into it.
Yeah, he's really into Japanese animation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he explained the difference between manga and whatever the other anime and all that was to me one day. And I was like, wow, that's way more involved than me.
He goes to conferences.
Oh, yeah?
And apparently, these, I think they're called otakus.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they all get together.
Otakus.
I
don't know.
I could be wrong.
I want to go to a taco truck. Get a little tasty taco. Get a fish taco.
Extra spicy tacos.
Brad, we're not making fun of your culture, man. No.
Well, we're not making fun of this Japanese culture that you've appropriated. I'm terrible. Anyway, hey, people like what they like,
they do.
And you know what? There's a lot of people I know who think podcasting is stupid.
There you go. Yes.
So,
and I would say, hey, You're not hurting anybody, Brad. Enjoy
Yeah,
it. You know,
yeah.
you're fine, dude. Do your
Absolutely.
thing. Be proud of it.
I think it's awesome that you have like an entire wall of DVDs behind the screen to your projector. You know,
Yes,
it's awesome.
He explained that when he was getting it all set up, how
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
going to do that. So yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
yeah.
Anyway, let's moving on before I get in trouble.
We're gonna have a fist fight.
He's gonna like come up here. I'm glad we're not live.
No, yes, that's right.
This next article we have comes from Time, and you may have seen this in the news because I kind of saw it everywhere, all over Facebook and whatnot. But a Texas man gets 50 years in prison after a scheme to steal $1.2 million worth of fajitas.
Ooh, man.
I would just like to repeat that: $1.2 million
Wow.
worth of fajitas.
Not gold, not diamonds,
No.
but fajitas.
Fajitas.
Okay.
Brownsville, Texas. A Texas man has been sentenced to 50 years in prison for stealing $1.2 million worth of fajitas over 9 years.
Wow, a 9-year heist.
Yeah. 53-year-old Gilberto Escamilla was sentenced Friday after pleading guilty to theft by a public servant. The Brownsville Herald reports he told the court the fajita scheme just spun out of control.
Oh,
Everything
That's how it
was
always
moving
goes.
so fast.
That's right.
The
The fajita world just playing fast and loose. I got in too deep, too fast.
Escamilla had been intercepting fajitas that he ordered through the Cameron County Juvenile Center where he worked, but then delivering them to his own customers. So I'm assuming he's getting these fajitas delivered to the juvenile center, but then instead
Yeah, he just
of
put
using
them
them
in his
for
truck.
the juveniles who are there,
Yeah.
he's, like you said, he's got some kind of business, food truck,
Right.
restaurant, whatever. Now he's selling
Right.
these fajitas.
He's turned into a distributor.
Yeah, at the cost of the taxpayer.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. A pretty good idea, honestly.
Yeah, it really
Like, if
is.
there's not much oversight, you can just slide a few cases in your trunk at the end of the shift.
Well, this went on for 9 years.
Yeah,
and
right.
so, I'm like, did no one ever questioned?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like his ingenuity.
Let's find out how he got caught. His scam was uncovered when he missed work for a medical appointment, and an 800-pound fajita delivery arrived at the center, which doesn't serve fajitas.
Oh,
And he wasn't there to get the shipment.
Right.
And it shows up, and everyone's like, oh, what's this?
oh. I bet you was in that doctor's office and he was like, oh man,
I knew
it's
I had something to do
Tuesday.
today.
It's Tuesday. The truck comes.
It's Taco
The fajita-
Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. The fajita truck comes.
Escamilla was fired in August, and he was arrested after authorities checked vendor invoices and obtained a search warrant that uncovered county-funded fajitas in his refrigerator.
Okay. Now,
So-
we did a story similar to this a while back where a guy had gotten in trouble for stealing food from the jail and selling it.
Yeah.
So maybe this is like pretty common. I don't know.
I feel like there needs to be more than one person that goes
Right.
over expense reports, no matter
Yeah.
what that is.
Right.
There needs to be more than one person that goes over that.
Well, and I don't know if it's like this in Texas, but in Alabama, we've recently had a controversy because I think in all but 6 counties, the jail food budget, everything that is not spent in that fiscal year, the sheriff gets to pocket.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
You know?
We did do that
And
story.
like that dude
yeah.
bought like that $7 million house down on
Yeah,
the
he
beach
was feeding
or
these
something.
guys like PB&J sandwiches,
right. 3
and then
meals a
taking the
day,
extra
and
money
taking
and
everything.
saving
Right.
up for a beach house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, maybe I bet you, if that's the case, that sheriff's checking those invoices every day. I don't know that our system is good, but it's probably you ain't got anybody loading up $9 or $1.5 million worth of fajitas and giving them out or selling them to restaurants around the city because he's got to pay for a beach house. But I could see how you might get enticed by the money you could make doing that real easily because you
$1.2 million.
yeah, you do it like you probably had a buddy. He probably had a buddy who's got him a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, can you?
He
get
probably
some
he
fajitas
probably helped
in?
him out one time.
Yeah. And then it
And
just
then
turned into
The next thing you know,
Right.
you get away with it that one time.
That's
You're
right.
like, okay, well maybe I'll just do it
Yeah.
one more time.
I made a fast, quick $100 right here. Nobody knows. I'll just get in one case, and before you know it, you're ordering 800 pounds of truck.
And it just it just grows like a snowball. It just steadily increases.
Well, and I imagine they got trustees that work in the kitchen, like jail trustees, inmates, and they're not going to tell on you because you're probably like,
because he's probably giving them like extra fajitas or whatever.
Here's a pack of smokes. Yeah. Here's a pack of smokes. Just don't tell anybody. Load those up in the back of my truck. Right. I'll be back in 30 minutes or whatever. So.
Because I'm one of you guys.
Yeah.
And now he really is going to be one of them.
He's going to be on the inside. I wonder if they make him work in the kitchen. Like, hey, man, I love cooking some fajitas.
Man.
The fajita bandit.
Wow.
Our next story, guy who's going to be in a little trouble with the law, comes from us from the KOMO News out of Seattle. And it says, court file. Man hits people with his car in Bothell to get out of work. So, a 22-year-old arrested for intentionally hitting 2 people with his car Friday night in Bothell said he did it to change his life and get out of a job he hated, court documents say.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I feel like he took it to the extreme.
Yeah.
Most people
I can think of a lot of ways to get out of work. Like maybe one, just not go.
Yeah, I think
call in sick.
A 2 weeks notice is standard, not hitting 2 people with your car. He said, I had to change something in my life, so I hit 3 people with my car.
Oh, my gosh.
The man told Bothell police officer. The intent wasn't to kill, but just to injure. So that makes it okay.
So he has the same intent as a Claymore mine.
That's
basically.
Right. Yes.
I don't want to kill anybody. I just want to injure them.
Just want to maim them up. Good.
Oh, gosh.
Court documents say he hit 2 women and aimed his car at a 3rd pedestrian who managed to get out of his way. One of the women was seriously hurt and was taken to Evergreen Medical Health Center. The other woman was treated at the scene. I heard kind of a screech, like tire screeching, said victim Amy Porterfield. She was walking to a restaurant to meet her husband for their anniversary dinner. I started to cross the street, and then I heard the car coming. I could hear the engine revving as he came, and I turned just as his hood hit my leg. He hit me in my left leg, and I came up on the car, bounced off the hood, flipped over, and landed on my right side in the street, Porterfield said. The man who was arrested, identified as Eli Aldinger, later told police that he was on his way to work when he saw a man and a woman crossing Main Street. He sped up from 20 to 35 to 40 miles per hour to hit the woman, court documents say. He told a police officer that the woman saw him coming and jumped up on the hood of his car. She was the most seriously injured of the 2 women. The man saw a second woman crossing the street. He swerved his car to hit her, court documents say. The woman was bruised but didn't need to go to the hospital. The man was in the path of his car, but he got out of the way. Witnesses were saying that he was driving on the wrong side of the road, but finally stopped at Bothell Way Northeast and 185th Northeast Street, for everyone who's familiar with that area that listens to us.
Yeah.
Officers who were in the area dealing with the unrelated accident came, to the scene. Snapchat videos show the officer cuffing the suspects, and witnesses say the suspect was laughing.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. The driver
sounds like to me like this guy has some serious problems beyond just hating his job.
Right. Well, that's what it says. He didn't seem to be under the influence of alcohol and drugs. He was completely calm and did not seem confused, excited, nervous, or scared, a police officer wrote in the court documents. And he said he spoke nonchalantly about the incident. Now, here we go. He worked at the McMinimus Anderson School, but hated his job, he told the officer. He said he was unhappy with his life and suffered from insomnia. He said on Friday that he had not slept for 3 days. Now, that is called a methamphetamine habit, by the way. That's not insomnia. I'll just point that out. As he was driving to work that night, he wanted to do anything to get out of work, the officer wrote. And he told the officers he was looking forward to spending a few years in a room.
Wow.
I'm not happy with the direction my life is going. I've been working in the food industry for 5 years and hate it. I feel you there, buddy. I've been dealing with insomnia for the past couple of months, and it's been horrible. And he told the officer that he felt bad for the people he hit and their families, but said it was a life experience, court documents say.
Oh, my gosh.
It's not funny. People got really hurt, but I can't help but laugh. I asked him if it was worth it, and he said, yeah, the officer wrote in court documents.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Meanwhile, the victim has a bit of sympathy for the driver. I feel angry, but also feel bad for him that he was in that frame of mind, said Miss Porterfield, who got hit. He's being held on $1 million of bail. He may get into the fajita game, you know?
Yeah.
His next court appearance is scheduled for Wednesday. So, I would just say, if you're unhappy with your station in life,
change it.
Sending yourself to jail is not the first step of getting out. You know, like, that's regression.
How bad does your life have to be where you're thinking, okay, jail is a step up?
Well, what do you think? Like, his manager, when he heard this, has got to go, man, am I that bad of a boss? Like, you know,
let me answer. Yes, you were. Man, apparently.
Hey guys, I thought Eli was cool, and he always kind of acted okay when he was at work. Now he's hitting people to get out. Maybe I'll put this in the end of the year evaluations we do or something, because I need to do some self-reflection.
Again, if you really didn't want to go to work, how about you just don't go?
Yeah. I mean, look,
call in sick.
Yes,
or just call in and say you don't want to come in. That's going to be a pain to your boss, but that's better than injuring people.
Just quit. You know, I mean, like, it's not hard to quit a job. You just walk in and go, "Hey, look, I'm sorry, I don't want to work here anymore." And that's it. Now,
maybe even just tell the guy, "Hey, you know what? I was going to run some people over to get out of it."
I hate
and
this
ultimately,
job.
I thought, you know what? It would be better for me to just come in here like a man, and say, "I don't want to work here. You can take this job and shove it."
Right. Well,
rather than put people in the hospital.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt other people because I hate my job. You know, like, I just want you to know that I've quit and I thought about hurting other people, and instead of doing that, it seems healthier to probably just quit and go find another job. Yeah. So, you know, which I get it. I mean, the restaurant industry's rough. Food service, which he said he worked at a school, so maybe he's like in a lunchroom or something. I don't know what kind of school this is.
When I was a teenager, I worked a job at a grocery store sacking groceries. I don't know if people still do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, when I was sacking groceries, we would also, like, you know, take them out to people's cars. Mm-hmm. You know, we'd push the buggy out there, load them in their trunk. You don't get that kind of service anymore, but that's how it was when I was doing it. And I do remember I hated that job. And there were times I thought, hey, maybe if I get hit by a car,
someone hurts me,
I'll go to the hospital and get out of work. But never once did I think about hurting somebody else to go to jail and get out of work.
No, you're right. Yeah, that's extreme.
It is.
That's extreme. And he said he suffered from insomnia and he's been up for 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, surely there's like a clinic or something you can go to around there, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know that I would hit another car or hit another person to get out of work. I don't think I could see myself doing that. No. As much as I hated a job.
And how about this? If jail is so much better than whatever it is you're doing now, how about, like, you know, white collar crime?
Right.
You know, or like a victimless crime.
Well, first of all, I would try to rob a bank. You know,
go in there with a squirt gun.
Yeah.
Or, you know what? We read one story about this one dude who he didn't even have a weapon. He just told the lady behind the counter that, hey, I'm going to hurt a bunch of people if you don't give me all the money.
Right. Yes.
You know, and he got arrested for robbing a bank.
Well, I mean, I'm sure robbing a bank, you're going to do some jail time. But if you get away, you got a lot of cash. You get change your station in life and start working towards something better.
If your goal is to go to prison, that's a win-win. That's what we call in the business a win-win.
Exactly. Right.
Either you're going to go to jail or you're going to have some money.
Maybe we should do life coaching like Kanye did. We should. If you want to go to jail, don't hit people with your car. Do something that you might possibly do well at.
_Earth Oddity.
That's right.
That's where you can get all your life tips.
Check out all your life tips from there.
Also, I would just like to say, anyone who wants to log on and follow our Twitter feed, you can see a long list of people who have it way worse than you do.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. Well, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
next story comes from Gizmodo, and it is police allegedly crashed funeral home to unlock a phone with a slain man's fingerprints.
Okay.
So, and this is a Florida story.
Of course. Where else would it be from?
Yeah. Largo, Florida, police detectives entered a funeral home in Clearwater and attempted to unlock the phone of a man killed in March by another officer at a traffic stop using the deceased man's hands, the Tampa Bay Times reported. Victoria Armstrong, the fiancée of late Linus F. Phillip, told the paper she felt so disrespected and violated after police entered the funeral home she was present at and attempted to use Phillip's corpse to unlock the device. While the police may have not been violating any law by doing so, Phillip's family certainly felt the move was disrespectful.
Yeah,
so
I would say so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming that they were there.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like they just showed up, when it wasn't visiting hours or whatever and did it. It sounds like they just walked in during a visitation or something.
Went up to the front like they're going to view the body.
Yeah.
Like two officers like, hey, Jim, cover me. They get his phone out.
They get the dude's finger, like his hand, and like hold it up to the phone. Well, it's horrible.
Well, there was a controversy, I guess it's probably been a couple years ago, where the authorities couldn't get a phone unlocked, I guess for like some terrorists or something.
Yes, I remember that.
I think it was the San Bernardino people.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get their phone unlocked.
And Apple was like,
no, we're
TS,
not. Yeah, right. Yes, we're not going to do that. And so it was a whole big old rigmarole. And these people were probably like, well, let's not just, hey, I got an idea, Jim. Let's just go down to the funeral home and see if we can get his fingerprint to unlock his phone. I don't know.
Says here, Armstrong, 28, this is his fiancée, who happened to be at Sylvan Abbey Funeral Home in Clearwater the day two detectives showed up with Phillip's phone. She said they were taken to Phillip's corpse. Then they tried to unlock the phone by holding the body's hands up to the phone's fingerprint sensor. Lieutenant Randall Cheney said it was an unsuccessful attempt to access and preserve data on the phone to aid in the investigation into Phillip's death, which, I mean, he was shot by police officers, right? I think that's kind of an open, closed case.
Sounds pretty open and shut.
And a separate inquiry into drugs that involved Phillip. Okay. So that now we're getting
They're
to
trying
the
to find out
real
who he was
story.
either buying or selling to.
Yes. While Cheney said detectives didn't think they need a warrant because there was no expectation of privacy after death, an opinion several legal experts affirmed the actions don't sit right with Phillip's family. So, again, they weren't breaking any laws, but it doesn't sound like the most respectful thing to do.
Right, yeah.
Cheney added that as far as he is aware, this was the first time the department has attempted to unlock a phone in this manner. It's certainly the first time I've heard of this.
Yeah.
It's not clear from the Times report what kind of phone Phillip owned, but if it was an iPhone, the 48-hour window in which the device could be unlocked with a fingerprint alone would have long expired. But that's not surprising that your beat cop, middle-aged beat cop wouldn't know that.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
It's unconstitutional for police to search cell phones without a warrant, and living criminal suspects can cite Fifth Amendment protections against self-incrimination if police demand to know the password to a phone. But courts have ruled the Fifth Amendment protections do not apply to devices with fingerprint-based security on the legal understanding that fingerprints are like other kinds of biometric indicators such as DNA or handwriting samples. So that's interesting.
That is interesting.
If your phone is locked by a password, the cops can't make you tell them that password.
Right.
But if your phone is locked by fingerprints, they can, and I'm going to say will, get you to get your finger and unlock that phone.
Well, I heard a story. I don't know this guy personally who had gotten pulled over because they thought he was texting and driving, and he was. I'm not an endorsement for texting and driving, by the way.
Right.
That'll get you burned at the stake if people hear you talking about that. But he locked his phone when the officer came up, and the officer asked to see his phone to see if he was texting because he had saw him with the phone in his hand.
Right.
And so he handed the officer his phone, and of course it had a passcode on it. And the officer was like, "Well, what's your passcode?" And he was like, "I'm
not telling you."
He's like, "I can't remember what it is." And
Gotcha.
So they had to let him go. I mean, I don't think
you
they
shouldn't do that.
Right. I don't think right, yeah. No. I don't think they had to let him go. They just chose not to hassle with all of it because, it probably wouldn't work. It's at the end of the shift, I guess, for that officer who's ready to go home. So, yeah. But I
guess they could, according to this article, they could take your finger.
Yeah. and
like hold you down and take your hand and make you unlock it that way.
They put you in cuffs so your hand's behind you. You can't do anything like sticking your phone to it. Like, you better unball your fist.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. That's wild.
The rights that we give up for convenience.
Exactly. Yes.
And I'm guilty.
Well, look, I'm telling you, if you use the fingerprint thing, they already got you anyways, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's any conspiracy theorist will tell you that. They've already got you.
Yep.
They got you. They're going to implement you, put you in some kind of crime database or whatever. So, yep.
Well, anyway, on with the article. In any case, the dead have few legal rights, according to the Times. In Florida, there are few laws governing who may have access to a dead person in the care of a funeral home. The law has been most cruel, really unforgiving to a dead person, Southampton Law School Associate Professor Regimus Nabuze told the Times. Name. Yeah. I don't think he's from Kansas.
Oh. No.
It provides no entitlement or legal rights after death to a deceased person. Nobody even calling us from the facility to let us know detectives were coming there is very disturbing, Armstrong added. I'm very skeptical of all funeral homes now. With increasing amounts of personal data stored on mobile devices, U.S. authorities have become particularly aggressive about seeking access to them. For over a decade, the FBI and Department of Justice have been publicly complaining about encryption and demanding tech companies design convenient backdoors to bypass their password security. Through federal, state, and local police officers have been quietly buying devices designed to crack phone security without said backdoors at the same time. Again, that's a bigger issue than the article we're talking about. Right. You know, it's a little disturbing.
It's
very disturbing. I just come straight up. You know, when the government is like, "Hey, we want." And again, I thought they already had access to all this stuff. Yeah,
kind of me too.
Which I'm not cool with that either.
No.
But, you know.
But yeah, I mean, they're just like actively saying we need to be able to look through your personal
for
property,
any reason,
for whatever,
without a warrant.
Right. If we deem it necessary, we're going to come and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That should scare everybody, you know? And
it seems like the Bill of Rights, the entire Bill of Rights, is increasingly under attack.
No, yeah.
You know, and it's, you know, we should all, as a society, you know, I think we should be a little bit alarmed.
Yeah, I think that no matter your political persuasion or anything.
Can we all be on the pro-rights side?
Yeah, right, yes.
You know?
That is something we don't want happening,
right.
You know? And I get it. There's a certain percentage of people who are up to no good, who are doing things, and we need to be able to figure that out. Or we have the desire for our authorities to be able to figure out, okay, like you're a terrorist and we shot you in the face 50 times, but we want to know what all the other terrorists were saying to you and what your plans were. I got that. But
it's a fine line.
Yeah. And as we've seen time and time again, if there's a chance to abuse something, it will get abused.
It will.
Yeah. And
think about this. It may not be the current, like maybe you're a huge fan of whoever happens to be in office at this particular time. Well, the next dude may not be.
Right.
And what about the dude after him?
Yeah.
What about the dude after that? You know, we constantly hear the term, you know, slippery slope.
Yeah, but I would say that's definitely one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, I don't think I really have anything on my phone that would be interesting to anyone. You know, I mean, if you wanted to look through it. But I still don't want you to have the capability to do that.
Right.
Just because. I mean,
just because.
Right, yeah. I don't have anything. You know, you're not going to find out anything that I wouldn't tell you on here. You're going to see a lot of pictures of my kids, bunch of videos of my daughter just talking, you know, and stuff like that. You know, my search history is mainly Alabama football, Grateful Dead music, and weird news stories, and that's about it. You know, so I don't know. I would say, I'm not trying to sound all 1776 patriotic or anything, but we need to wake up to that because that's bad news for everybody. You know, because if they outlaw the Grateful Dead and they can search through my phone, then next thing you know, I'm in jail. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Admittedly, this is a bit of an extreme example, but here a few months back, I don't know if you remember, because we had an ICP story earlier. Do you remember that when the Department of Homeland Security, they labeled the Juggalos a domestic terrorist group?
Right. Yes.
Well, what if you happen to be a fan of ICP?
Yes.
And let's say some crazy somebody even crazier than our current president gets in office and decides he's going to wage war on the juggalos.
On the juggalos.
Do you want police coming to your house and searching through your phone and being like, uh-oh, this dude right here?
Yeah, because you're listening to music, too, by the way. But yeah, that is extreme, but you can see it getting to that.
Yeah.
Because we've done a lot of weirder things with the government.
What if you and your kids just dressed up as clowns for Halloween, and now all of a sudden you're getting the bracelet slapped on you, getting in the back of a police car because you've been labeled a terrorist?
That's right.
All because you listen to ICP.
All because you listen to ICP.
Again, that's an extreme example, but there can be, we
would have sat here 2 years ago and been like, someone labeling fans of a music group a terrorist organization or whatever is an extreme example, and now it's happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's crazy. But speaking of ICP, let's get to that story. Okay, Ohio woman sues Insane Clown Posse after being injured by Faygo. This is from Toledo, Ohio. An Ohio woman is suing the band, claiming she was hit with a 2-liter bottle of Faygo during a concert, knocking her unconscious. Andrea Walker attended the concert in Toledo, Ohio about 3 years ago. She's now suing for several thousand in dollars for damages. ICP, that's what all the cool kids call Insane
Stands
Clown
for,
Posse.
Insane Clown Posse.
Is known to use Faygo at its shows, shaking up the bottles before spraying the crowd with the soft drink, which, man, you go to a concert and you get all that sprayed on you, sticky and everything else on the ride home.
It beats going to a gore show.
Oh, yeah.
Where you get blood and other bodily fluids sprayed on you.
But Walker claims an unopened bottle was hurled into the crowd, hitting her in the chest. Walker claims she passed out, hit the concrete floor, and left the concert with life-threatening injuries.
Uh-oh.
Over a period of less than half of the song, the 2 liters started to come, and she was injured, Andrew Salter said, who is a witness. I saw some of the fans grabbing 2-liter bottles out of the popcorn bucket holders, both tossing some into the crowd and chucking them as hard as they could to propel them as far as they could into the crowd. I don't know why I'm laughing at that. I'm just picturing it in my mind.
Yeah.
Walker's attorney said she missed 11 weeks of work.
That's a lot.
Yeah. She ended up with 8 stitches and a cast on her right arm. My client missed a significant amount of work. She had some significant injuries and has some permanent scars that she'll carry with her forever. Allowing individuals on the stage at a show is akin to giving a switchblade to a kindergarten class. I don't know if that's the same.
I don't know if it's quite the same.
Yeah. You don't know how it's going to end, but it's going to end poorly. The band lawyer tells WTVG TV that what happens at the show is not a surprise. The evidence will show Miss Walker was aware of the group Insane Clown Posse, the lead act, which included Faygo being sprayed onto the crowd, ICP lawyer Mark Jacobs said. So what their lawyer is contending is, okay, Miss Walker, you're a fan of this band. You know what goes on at the shows.
Nobody goes to the gathering of the Juggalos and doesn't know what they're getting themselves into.
You willingly bought a ticket and entered this venue, and you assumed the risk of getting hit with a Faygo bottle, which I'll say, I could see spraying people with, the stuff. I don't see throwing a full 2-liter. I get that ICP they're on the edge of what we would consider normal, sane behavior. They're beyond the edge of what we consider.
Well, I mean, that does sound like something that probably goes on every single show they do. Right. It's just this particular time a lady got seriously hurt, not just kind of hurt.
Right, yes.
And now she's suing.
Now, I will say I was at an Alabama football game. This was when I was in college in the student section. And if people out there are not familiar, college students will sneak alcoholic drinks into a football game and drink all during the game. Yeah, right. Yes,
it happens.
For those of you with kids in college, if you didn't know that was going on, your kid's probably getting drunk in the student section. I know they attended youth group, but there's a good chance that it probably happens. But anyway, so I can't remember the game I was at. I want to say it was when we played UCLA here and we got beat. This is back when we were horrible in football.
Right. Before we started going to the playoff every single year.
Yeah, and just dominating people and making them not even want to have a football program anymore, But we scored a touchdown, and everybody's, cheering and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of looking around, and I see from the upper deck at Bryant-Denny a fifth empty bottle of Jack Daniels come over it, come down from the top, just tumbling down. And I trace the path, and I look, and I'm like, it's going to hit somebody down here in the first three rows of the student section. And it did. I mean, pa-dunk off of somebody's head, but it happened to be a plastic bottle. It wasn't glass.
Oh, thank goodness.
It didn't really hurt them, And, the kid that hit, there was a guy,
Sure, it's annoying.
He was probably drunk anyways. He didn't care.
Right.
But I mean, used to. It's not as bad, I don't think, now. Of course, I don't sit in the student section, but used to. I mean, we scored a touchdown. It was drinks in the air and bottles flying everywhere. And it was wild, So I could see, you getting hit would hurt, But I also knew that was going on when I went there. So if we ever scored, I was like, I'm on alert. I don't want to get hit. I don't want to get stitches after a football game.
I will say I have been to my fair share of rock shows. I mean, since I've become a dad, I go to less shows. I don't go to these shows.
I understand.
But it was every show I went to, it was very common that at some point there's going to be, well, it's not going to be at some point, it's going to be throughout the show regularly. People are going to take 20-ounce bottles of water and sling them up in the air, and they're going to throw the bottle up and people are going to bat it around.
All right.
And occasionally you get this one yahoo who's just going to throw a full bottle up in the air, and it's going to come down and bonk somebody on the head. But I imagine a 2-liter, I imagine that would be
full
a full 2-liter.
I mean, that was going to hurt.
Yeah.
I feel you getting hurt, Miss Walker, but I feel like you had to know what was going on.
Yeah.
Because you don't get too many people who are just going to an ICP show just to see what it's about. They're not fans. I mean, those guys their fans paint their face up like clowns to go to a show.
And they sing about murder.
Yeah. Oh, yes, they do.
They straight up sing about
and magnets,
rape
by
and
the
murder.
way. I don't know if you've heard
magnets?
that. Have you heard their song about magnets?
No.
Oh, we can't play it on here. But it's
for multiple reasons.
Yeah. It's pretty. Just look it up. It's pretty funny. Just do ICP magnets. And it's quite strange. You're like, well, I know you were smoking something when you wrote this song. But yeah.
Oh, man.
Anyway, sorry the lady got hurt. I don't see being out of work for 11 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost 3 months of work for a broke arm and some stitches. But I would say
I'll say this too: go into an ICP show. Be glad you walked out getting hit with a 2-liter bottle, right, because there's much worse that goes on.
I would also like to say
be glad you weren't assaulted.
She might need to get a better attorney because she's only suing for a couple $100,000, and I feel like you need to start off higher than that. We're suing for $5 million, we'll settle for $300,000.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just saying she's going to get out of this with maybe $50,000. She'll give that to half to her lawyer, who's probably representing her for free. She's going to walk away. Yeah, she's going to walk away with $25,000 to put down on a 1998 Corolla and put the rest towards Faygo and face paint for her next ICP show. I don't know. Just say you should ask for more damages.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, we have one last story.
Yes.
But before we get into that,
kind
of like we did a couple weeks ago, we're going to hit community news first.
Yes, let's do that. And you may ask your kids to step away.
Yes. So we had 3 reviews this past week. So
3.
We had 3.
That's a big uptick.
It is.
Thank you, listeners.
Yes.
Makes me feel popular.
You want to take the first one?
Sure. It's from our friend Fergie Fantastic. I love this podcast. It's always fun to listen to. The stories are off the wall and extremely funny. This is my favorite part. The hosts are brilliant in their takes on the subjects at hand. All right? I'm going to repeat that. The hosts are brilliant in their takes on the subjects at hand. In a world of negativity and depressing media, this is an extreme gut punch of laughter. It's absolutely a hilarious show. I look forward to the new episodes every week. Give this show one listen and you'll be hooked.
Just give us one listen.
Just one listen.
Just one listen.
I mean,
you can do that.
Yes, depending on which one you listen to. Let's be honest here.
Well, thank you so much, Fergie.
Yes, Fergie, you are fantastic. And I would take you out to dinner, but I'm a married man. So...
I will say I know Fergie. I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I actually do.
Yeah,
I personally know Fergie. Fergie listens to the show. Fergie is also very active in our Facebook group.
All right,
and I would thank you so much, Fergie.
Yeah, Fergie.
And, next time I see you, you don't have to send an email into the podcast. Just next time I see you, just come up to me and I'll give you a pocket knife. Okay. Thank you so much. For your kind words.
Yes.
Okay. Our next review is Great Convo Flow by Tim May 1994. 5 stars. Really fun show. Was pretty surprised about Allison as a massive childhood Smallville fan. I thought you guys picked good topics. The kid really cracked me up. I assume you may be talking about me. Yeah. And you have a great flow back and forth. You made good, quick points that were still light and funny. So thank you so much. Tim May, if you send an email into the show, I'll send you a pocket knife. Thank you so much.
And our next one from Smithy3595, hilarious. Listen for a lighthearted laugh. He says, the episode about giving a hand to Canada was so funny.
That's old school.
Yeah, it is old school, but I agree with you.
Yeah, that was funny.
Great concept with 2 very likable hosts. Aw. You're making me blush. The time spent researching and choosing the articles and stories is well worth it because they're so enjoyable to hear about. Yeah, we put a lot of time. I mean, anyone who listens to this show can tell we put a lot of time invested into it.
A lot of show prep.
That's right. Found myself telling my friends about it as I listened. The bit you guys did about St. Francis Xavier's hand getting a seat on the plane had me cracking up. Keep it going, guys.
We will.
Yeah,
we will keep it going.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Yeah. So, also I want to talk about our sponsor, Cajun Curl, Bayou Blended Spices. If you hadn't tried it, you definitely need to try it because it is the bomb. I'm using it on everything. Chicken, pork. I'll throw it on sandwiches, put it on popcorn. It's great. All natural, low sodium spice, but it's not overpowering. It's not going to leave you crying from the heat. Like we came up with, taste the spice, not the heat. That's a great tagline. I don't know why they hadn't branded that everywhere yet. So, squirrel, just say it. You might want to use it.
It's starting to show up in his Facebook post now.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right, good. I must have missed that in amongst the 1,000 podcast posts I see on my thing as I followed like those 50 podcasts that night.
Yeah.
And now it's just, that's all I see for all of them.
That's hilarious.
That's a little inside baseball for everybody. But then we're in a part of like a podcast group, and they were like, "Hey, let's follow everybody's Facebook pages." Well,
Bad idea.
I went
Bad
nuts.
idea.
I went nuts because Dragon Booty was still on the table, and I was like, look, I'm going to put in my whole effort here, because it's not happening, and it's not. I mean, there's like 2 days left.
Yeah, I was just fixing to get to this. We have 152 likes.
Right.
The deal was if we can get 1,000 in the month of April, John gets a dragon tattoo on his booty.
That's right, but I'm not.
Well, now when this episode goes up, they'll have one last day.
That's right.
But unless y'all can move mountains and get all your friends to like our page, it's not going to happen.
With our tens of dozens of listeners,
we are. What would it be? 849 likes short.
That's right.
Now
my butt's fine. It's safe.
Probably not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, my butt's fine anyways, in the sense that it's cute. I don't have much of one, but it's cute. And if I do say so myself, I don't want to brag or anything.
Yeah.
But no dragon tattoo on it, which is great because I did not want a tattoo. I'm deathly afraid of needles. But that's how much I care about this podcast, about E.O.P.,
And to the listening audience, you got one day.
Yeah, one day.
To
make it happen.
This show will go up sometime early Monday morning. You got that Monday.
And I may put something in the Facebook group today at some point in time. Once I'm finished repainting a wall at my house and working on my kid's school project that's due Tuesday.
Right.
Thank you, Miss LaFoy, for saddling us with such a burden, this project. But I put something up in there just to make it another fair shot for everybody and see if it'll happen. But I really think my butt's safe. And
one last thing before we get into our last story of the day. Me and John have been invited to do a radio show out of Jackson, Mississippi.
That's right.
On Mississippi Public Broadcasting, Everyday Tech.
Yes.
So if you are listening to this and you are in the Mississippi area and you want to catch us on the radio, you can catch us on the radio Wednesday from 10 to 11 on, what's the radio station?
91.3 is a station in Jackson. They have affiliates all, statewide.
Yeah.
I know one close to here to our home is the one that broadcasts out of Mississippi State's 89.9. So
89.9. So
yeah, but just check, what is it? mpbonline.org and
is the website.
Yeah, and you can get a list of their affiliates. Tune in wherever you're close. I'm sure you can stream it off of their website too. So
and we'll also probably post a link in the show notes, and we'll probably put something up in the Facebook group if you do want to listen.
And now that we're becoming big stars, we're probably not gonna be talking to you guys too much personally out in the streets
like we have been.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of a big deal now.
It's still public radio. We're not big time yet, John. Just easy.
Dang.
Dang. And also, if you miss it, Everyday Tech is also posted up on the internet in podcast form, so you can catch that on iTunes,
quality,
and most anywhere podcasts are found. Everyday Tech,
and look for me in my new car and fancy clothes and all that. Now that this thing's taken off,
I am gonna go through my closet and pick out my prettiest polo shirt and take that to the Stitch Factory kiosk in the mall and get them to stitch our logo on it, so I look real official.
Nice. Maybe I should do that, and then it'd be like over the top of like a Columbia logo or something. Like all of mine have that on there.
Well, see, I have some generic polos that came from Dirt Cheap with no logos on them, so that'd be perfect.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I like that. Boy, that'd be big time in all of y'all. We got our own apparel,
You all laughed at us, said we couldn't do it. Now we're on public radio.
We're on public radio in Mississippi. Which I honestly love public radio. I listen to 91.5, which is Alabama Public Radio here based out of Tuscaloosa, all the time. People hate public radio for some reason,
right?
But I enjoy it. I think it's awesome. I like all the shows they have on the weekends. It's a blast. Super good jazz music on the weekends at night. They do all kind of stuff. I'm a fan of public radio. Donated a lot to public radio when I had my restaurant. So yeah, I enjoy it. Just wanted to be a plug for public radio. I'm a fan of public radio.
Do we want to get on our last?
Yeah, get on our last story, which isn't really.
Again, this story that we're fixing to talk about, it's not like super. It's just, it's something, if you have older kids, they're fine. Yeah. We're not going to use a lot of profanity. We're not going to talk rude or crude about anything. Yeah. But if you got small kids, there may just be some conversations you don't want to have with them at this point in their life.
Well, I would say, your kids are a lot smarter than the people give them credit for. So, just understand that your kid may already be aware of things that go on in the world. So,
right. So, quick countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
All right. So, if I were to say the words gay panic defense to you, what would you think?
Well, when I read this article and heard the term gay panic defense, my first thought was that is a great band name.
It is.
And then I went and looked online. It is a band name. There's a band out of Scotland called Gay Panic Defense.
All right. Okay. All right.
But what are we talking about here, John?
Okay, so this comes up to us from KXAN out of Austin. After using rare gay panic legal defense, Austin man avoids prison time. James Miller will serve 10 years probation after being sentenced for criminally negligent homicide for killing his neighbor in East Austin back in 2015. The jury recommended Miller serve 10 years probation, and the judge was required to honor that. However, Judge Brad Urtia also, I'm pretty sure that's exactly how you say it.
I'm sure.
Also added a maximum allowed 6 months jail time, also requiring Miller to complete 100 hours of community service and pay nearly $11,000 in restitution to the victim's family, and use a portable alcohol monitoring device for at least a year. The judge will reassess after a year on whether the device is still needed. Prosecutor Matthew Foy says the judge's maximum penalty and the fact that the jury didn't let Miller off on his self-defense claim reinforces what he hoped to prove. It establishes that Daniel Spencer was a victim of a senseless killing by the defendant, and he did not do anything to bring this upon himself. Since the defense's strategy was to argue self-defense, I think the jury's verdict made it clear that they did not believe it was self-defense. So, the defense argued Miller stabbed his neighbor when Spencer allegedly came on to him. The prosecution argued blood evidence didn't match Miller's story. However, Foy says the jury did its best with a hard trial. We don't know exactly what happened in the house that night, Foy said, so that can be something that can be very difficult for juries to work through.
Yeah, because this is a situation where there's two people, one kills the other one, and the only person who was there
is the one
who did the killing.
Yes. Defense attorney Charlie Baird said he had hoped Miller wouldn't have to serve any time. We were disappointed with the verdict yesterday when he was convicted of criminally negligent homicide. We thought he should have been acquitted on the basis of self-defense. However, Baird said he was happy Miller wouldn't have to serve time in prison. The jury, they agreed with us and thought that Mr. Miller was no threat to the community or to society at large, and therefore they decided to place him on community supervision. Miller's defense is known as the gay panic defense. While it is a rare defense, it is legal in most states. NBC News reports it's been used in about half of all the states with some success as part of an insanity or self-defense claim. There's a push to ban the defense in several states, including Texas. In December, Illinois became the second state to ban it. California banned it in 2014 after the ABA, American Bar Association, called on states to eliminate it. So I guess
it's also been banned in, I believe, Illinois.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Illinois. Yeah.
Did the article say that?
I literally just said that.
Oh, well, my apologies.
It's okay.
I'll just cut that out.
No, leave it in there. Leave it in there. That's great. This is the kind of stuff you're going to get on Mississippi Public Radio. But so apparently, the gay panic defense is that you were.
Right here, I've actually got the Wikipedia article up right here because I wanted to differentiate between the gay panic defense and like a sexual assault claim or self-defense.
Yeah.
Regular. And so anyway, the gay panic defense is a legal defense usually against charges of assault or murder. A defendant using the defense claims they acted in a state of violent temporary insanity because of unwanted homosexual advances from another individual. The defendant alleges to find the same-sex sexual advances so offensive and frightening that it brings on a psychotic state characterized by unusual violence.
Okay.
So it's kind of bizarre to me. When I first read this article, I'm like, so is he saying that this guy tried to assault him?
Right.
Because I really feel like, and this is an elderly gentleman, and I really feel like most of the nation, if this man like sexually assaulted him, or he was trying to rape him, I think we would all kind of, stand up and cheer that, hey, he
shouldn't, it's just like if a lady was being,
absolutely.
A guy was forced himself upon her and she shot him in the face or whatever, then everybody would be like, well, good. That's understandable.
That's what rapists get.
Yes, exactly.
This is not that.
But, I
this
think
is not
guy
that.
was
This
just like,
is just,
hey, I think you look good in those pants or something.
Yeah.
And
he, right.
He
goes nuts.
Yes, he goes nuts.
So,
Which
bizarre.
It seems very bizarre that this is a legal defense you can use, because I would just say the inverse of that. So, like, if I was a single man and not Baptist, if I was out at a bar and was hitting on a lady, like, hey, I love your dress, I think your eyes look nice or whatever.
If I said you had a beautiful body, would you hold it against me?
Yes.
And then she just turns around and
rages out and stabs me, which I'm sure women want to do a lot. I mean, I've never been a woman, but I could just imagine they want to do that a lot. It's got to be horrible. And, that would seem bizarre to me that you would say, and I guess maybe that's the patriarchy of society saying, well, you've been conditioned to think that women have to endure that kind of stuff, and now you don't have to with homosexuals. You can use it as a defense. So I don't know. But anyways, I would keep that in mind, ladies, if you got some guy that keeps bothering you one night.
What would we call that defense?
Straight
panic defense.
Straight panic defense. Which sounds like a Nick Saban call, like.
Well, I guess if we're being completely fair, if there's a lady who's homosexual and then a straight man hits on her, can she go nuts and kill him?
I mean, according to this, it sounds like it.
I mean, that's kind of the exact inverse.
Yeah, right. She's gonna get in a little trouble. But
the guy he's going to avoid jail time. He didn't completely. I'm sure this is of no comfort to the family who lost this person.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I guess it's better than him just being free to go.
Right.
Well,
and like you say, we don't know what all happened that night, but
I will say that again, the lawyer was right. We don't know what happened that night. I will say that the jury and me too, just after looking at pictures of these two individuals, I'm kind of skeptical myself.
Me too.
That this, young, nice looking man is coming onto this elderly, African American man.
Right. Yes.
Which I understand everybody's got their
their
thing.
One thing I've learned about the internet is there are a lot of different things people are into.
Stranger things have happened, but I'm skeptical as well.
Right, just looking at it on face value here,
yes.
You would be like, this dude's not going to be hitting on this guy.
I mean, if he's into dudes, he can do way better than this guy.
Which I recently came on to by another man. I'm not lying at all. This is 100% truth. I won't go into all the details of it. It's
probably good.
Because some of the stuff he said was inappropriate, but I was in our store in Demopolis working one day. This gentleman came in, and he let it be known he liked
other men.
Yeah, he liked the way.
He liked you.
Yeah, he liked the way I looked.
He wanted some Long John Long.
Exactly, right. And I did not fly into a rage to try to kill him or anything.
I was going to thank you for not murdering that man.
I was trying to sell him some furniture. I mean, you got to take advantage of these opportunities. But after it was over with, I was kind of like, oh, you know what? I still got it. All right. I kind of thought I fell off a little bit, but still got it.
Gosh.
So yeah, that happened to me. Yeah. But I felt no reason to kill the guy or anything. I was just like, hey.
You're a little flattered.
Yeah, right. I just brought up my wife a few times and just let it go on and been like, let me show you this leather recliner right here that's $1,200. See if
He's like, leather.
Oh, yeah. He was like, oh, I like to sit in this in my underwear and all this stuff, So I was like, all right. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I feel like you're, if you want to sit in your underwear, it'd be the perfect chair to buy. Yeah. But yeah, when I left all the ladies in the store, it was like, he was hitting on you. And I was like, for real? Because, no one's hit on me in forever.
Right.
My wife doesn't even hit on me.
How long have you and Deidre been married?
We've been married for 16 years. We've been dating
Congratulations.
for 24 years. So,
right.
Yeah, no one hits on me anymore.
So this was like a new...
My wife doesn't even hit on me, So I can't even convince her to kiss me most days. So... but I was like, I still got it. Like,
my wife, the other day, she said something. She'd been using something on her face, and she was like, something like, I hadn't noticed it, and I'd just like to say I'm sorry that I didn't notice your facial treatment that you've been using. But my point was, we don't get in each other's face enough.
Yeah,
because I promise you, I would notice.
Let me tell you where we're at after 16 years of marriage. A few weekends ago, the kids went to Fayette to stay with her parents. So we had like the night alone, which you know what that means if you're a married couple.
It means Call of Duty.
Well, I say they took the Xbox with them.
No.
So Deidre and I went out to a nice dinner and ate at, had a steak or whatever. And we came home, it was kind of early and everything. And I got home and I was like, wow, this has been a great night. You know what would make it better? And literally my wife made this noise. Ugh. That was the noise she made. And then I was like, if we had the Xbox here so I could play Call of Duty. But when she made that noise, I was just like, man, so that's how my wife feels about me. Okay, all right. I see where we're at now.
It would have been less painful if you would have just took a kitchen knife and just stabbed me straight in the heart with it. That would have been that would have felt better.
Yes. Literally, she was like, that self-confidence meter goes down to like negative 400. Okay, all right.
And the next thing you know, you're getting hit on by gay dudes.
Yeah,
and
right.
You're like,
yeah.
Yes.
I was like, okay, all right, yeah.
I needed that.
I needed that pick me up. I needed that. All right. Which I tell Deidre all the time. There's a chubby lady that works at the gas station by the house who's got like 2 teeth, and I really think she's into me. So I got my options just so everybody knows.
Hey, I will say, me and Eli, we had to go to the Publix one day, and the one down on the university just happens to be the closest one. So we went in there. I don't remember. I think we were getting cookies or something. I don't remember. But we came out, and this girl was walking by, and the air conditioner in my truck is out. It's been out for like years, and so I just rolled down the windows in the summertime. Sure. And this lady was walking by, and she just walked up, and she was reasonably attractive. And she's like, hey, I like your truck. And I was like, oh, thanks. Thank you a lot.
Yeah.
And she was like, I think I'm going to take that truck from myself. And Eli in the back is like, you're going to take our truck? Please don't take our truck. And she like asked me my name and, started asking me all this. She was hitting on me.
Yeah.
And, when we got back to the house, I couldn't wait to tell Tara.
That's right.
That I got hit on by some college girl. And Tara was like, was she drunk? And my response was, still counts.
That's right.
It still counts.
Yeah, who cares if she's drunk?
Yes, she couldn't see straight. She probably saw three of me sitting behind the seat. Still counts.
That still counts. That's right. That's right. So, yeah. Anyway.
Which I know my wife. I know anytime she wanted to take off, she could do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Deidre can leave me. Just find a guy.
Last week, we talked about the ratio of pretty women to men.
Yeah, right. Yes.
That my wife is beautiful, and it's because there's just, so many of them.
Right. Yeah, well, I'm saying, Deidre, she's got way better options out there than me. For some reason, she still loves me.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that. Even if I cause her to make a violent, disgusted noise
at the
thought of being with me, which I wasn't even going down that path. I was literally talking about having the Xbox,
Yeah.
I was like, but just the fact that she did it was like, oh, well, okay, all right. Oh, now I just thought about she's going to listen to all this too, so. Hey, I love you, baby. I love you. I'm just regardless. Just jokes for the people, just jokes for the public. It's not serious or anything like that.
Well, man. On that note, you have been listening to Earth Oddity Podcast, and we thank you so much for listening to us. No matter where you get us, whether it's on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher,
RSS, Tune In,
RSS Radio, Tune In, Player FM, Overcast,
anywhere,
YouTube, pretty much wherever podcasts are found, you can usually find us there.
That's right.
Except Spotify.
Yeah.
Screw you, Spotify.
We don't like you.
And you can follow us on Twitter @_Earth Oddity.
That's right.
We have an Instagram account of the exact same
name. Yeah.
And please email into the show because we want to hear from you. What is your take on the gay panic defense?
Exactly.
Have you ever had to employ that defense?
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
You can write us in. We are earthoddity@planetmail.net.
Yes. Thanks for listening, guys. We love y'all. We appreciate you listening. Check out Cajun Curl.
Yes.
Look for our appearance on Mississippi Public Radio.
Jackson, here we come.
Yes, we're coming to your city.
Yeah. And if you want a tattoo of a dragon on John's butt, you have 24 hours.
Better get after it.
So, all right. Bye.
Bye.
This has been a Very Odd production. Thanks for listening.